In this video, I'm drilling and rolling with Funny Joe again. Joe has become one of my staple training partners at the academy. He's a little younger, a little bigger, a little stronger. So it always makes for an interesting roll. So here we're working on a choke in class. Basically, you pull your lapel under the armpit and around the far side of the throat, as you could see there. And then you just pull and push up with your hips. So I've never done this choke probably live. I might have seen it at some point, but what I love about my school is I'm always learning something I've never seen before. There's so much to jiu-jitsu. There's so many ways to skin the cat. And these are the old school jiu-jitsu ways. So I've already done the sport. I've been at a competition style school, but this is old school and it's a different, I feel like there's so many more options. So this is a lapel choke and I'm going over it with Joe, and I thought you guys would be interested to see it. Here I'm showing him also that you can take an armbar from here. So when you're training, you should always think of giving the person the dilemma of being choked or being armbarred. So you go for the choke. When they reach to defend, you take the armbar. I like this choke by just grabbing the collar and bringing it across, but doing it with your own lapel is sneakier, because you could feed your lapel to the other hand and it won't seem as obvious to your training partner. Where if I go to grab his collar, usually he's gonna defend that. Even though I've rolled with guys in the past, I remember I was in Japan, I rolled with this blue belt, I tapped him 6 times in a row with this style of choke, and then I tell him, I say, just try not to let me grab your collar. Like I'm trying to help him, and it just seemed like he ignored me. I thought maybe it was a language barrier, but I went on to find out that he did speak English. So now we're discussing the finer points of the choke. And he's asking me about that armbar from the back. So I'm showing him how not only can you get an armbar that way, but you can get the choke as well. So this is what I like about the gi. You don't have these options in no gi. Yet it's the same sport. So why not train both? If I'm going to devote my life to learning about jiu-jitsu, I want to learn gi and no gi. Hey, that's just me. On any given day, you could say, oh, we're doing no gi open mat, or we're doing gi open mat, and I wouldn't feel a leaning towards either. Even though I did start with gi and no gi in 2008, and I never wanted to put on a gi my first couple of years. It was about MMA and submission wrestling type of training. And I always thought the gi was nerdy. But over time, I realized it's very interesting. Because, again, I'm not training for street fights, but in most street fights, people will be wearing something you could grab onto. And it'll just help facilitate things. No-gi would be great if you had a fight on the beach. So I always preferred no-gi until recently. I would say right before Marcelo's, I started really appreciating both. And I remember I watched a video where he said, just train both. So here Joe is excited to learn the armbar collar combo from the back. Moving the leg out of the way to give someone a space to drop into is key. There's Big Billy. He's a blue belt now. Still as enormous as ever.
You're gonna know just instinctively.
So that ends the drilling. Now we're into a regular round. I notice in the comments, I hear a lot about how I have to be better at stand-up and keep my stand-up sharp and be able to take down blue, purple belts that are younger than me. And I totally disagree with all of it. I'd rather pull guard and get my legs involved. It makes life a lot easier, but more importantly, a lot safer. As far as street fights go, I live in a nice neighborhood. Chances of me having a street fight are 1 in a million. So if you're training jiu-jitsu and getting beat up 3 to 4 days a week because you're worried about a street fight, I think there's better ways to spend your time. So there I almost had a spider guard sweep. I do this for self-cultivation. I do this to improve on myself, not to get knee surgery and shoulder surgery, because I have an ego that has to prove that I could take down a younger, stronger, bigger opponent. Can I do it if they're unskilled or untrained? Probably. But I'd rather just pepper spray somebody. Soak them with the hot sauce. I don't know if you've seen the Active Self-Protection channel on YouTube. I highly recommend it. He always says, bless them with the hot sauce. So here Joe's doing a good job of putting a lot of forward pressure and like passing my guard. He's got my arm folded all the way across my chest there with his weight. And there I tried to turn back into him, and he kicked out and passed my guard. But as you can see, I'm not going crazy. I'm just trying to sit up. I'm squirmy. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep doing small movements that make him have to work. So there he tried to do a sloppy mount step over, and I was able to block it with my knee. And then I just got to quarter guard. But you have to realize I'm not using a lot of effort. So here I'm setting up a sweep. Watch how I come up. I just roll him right over because his leg is trapped and he can't base out. So that's the type of jiu-jitsu I like. It's not explosive. It's not fast. It's not powerful. It's just like turning a switch. Pulling a lever. Or a lever, considering what part of the world you might be in. So here I'm just leaning on his knee shield. I'm looking to break that connection in a slow, incremental manner. So I got one knee over. I'm doing like a pretend grip fighting. Really what I want is that inside position with my left elbow inside his thigh. Or if he puts his leg up on my head enough, I will simply swim my left arm under and pass to his right. So here I'm looking for the staple again. As you can see, I'm not breathing heavy. There he's looking to come up, and he did. I tried to just push him back, and it failed. So now he's in the top of my half guard, and I'm looking to get behind his left tricep and take his back. So that requires pulling him by and pulling my body to the side. He recognized that and started to posture up, and I went to attack his right arm with my armbar. I think I call it an inverted armbar, but an armbar nonetheless. So here I'm looking to establish a spider guard. Now I sat up to butterfly. Now I'm looking to set up either that armbar again on his right side, or something on the opposite side. So here he's looking to do that pass again, but this time I'm making space. I'm not going to let him pass me that way again, even if it took a little bit of extra effort at that moment. The key is, how much is it worth? So I explained this to him at the end of the round. But if it takes 50% of your energy to pass somebody's guard, was it worth it? Or if it takes 100% of your energy to submit somebody, and you still have to roll another 5 rounds in class. Learn to make your jiu-jitsu efficient. It's there. But if you're always jumping all around and bench pressing everybody, you're not going to find it. So here I'm tickling Joe's foot.
Everything was good. You did a good sweep, I think. You did a good pass. Just very athletic, but not athletic. Just you pay him. So it's all right. So you get this 50%. And you use 80% to pass my body parts. Let's say, right? Let's say 50. 2 each, right? That's not bad. All right, maybe you might do it again, but you have another 50. You know, it's okay because you're sitting with pathways. And eventually,
So I'm trying to pass this knowledge on to him. If you could spend 20 seconds teaching somebody at the end of the roll, definitely do it. But please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe.